Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining our LinkedIn Live session today, where we're celebrating 5 years of OneTrust. We've had some amazing achievements so far, from being named the fastest growing company in the US by the Inc. 500 to our over $5 billion valuation. The growth is a direct result from the trust of our customers and partners. So we have a few people from the PSO team today to discuss the journey and celebrate just how far we've come. So before we launch into the questions, I'd like to introduce you to our team. So we've got Zach, Mayowa, and Damon. So Zach, can you tell us a little bit about your role, what you do, and how long you've been working for OneTrust?
Sure. Thanks, everybody. I've been working for OneTrust for just over 3 years now. I run the US division of our customer success team. And the primary function of my team is customer adoption, customer retention, alongside a mix of other things that we do. But that is the primary focus of what my team does.
Amazing. Thanks for that, Zach. Mayowa, did you want to quickly introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. Hey, guys. So my name's Mayo, as Francesca's mentioned, and I work in the EMEA team. So I'm the technical services manager, and effectively I oversee a team of consultants who help deliver some of our, I say, challenging products in that sense. But when I mean challenging, some of the more technical type of products across multiple different offerings. And I've been at OneTrust now, similar to Zach, actually, just coming up to 3 years, which I'm sure Zach would probably say the same as flown by. But yeah, that's pretty much what I do at OneTrust.
Awesome. Thanks for that, Mayowa. And Damon?
All right, that means I'm next. So hi everyone, my name is Daman. I head the technical account management team here at OneTrust on the EMEA side. What that means is we're very much held responsible for the success of our customers, ensuring, similar to Zach, that they're adopted, they're getting value from their investment, and we're continuing to build this evergreen partnership with our customer base. I have been with the business for, similar to Zach, about 3.5+ years. So that's very much when it was in its infancy, really trying to grow, and during the pinnacles of its growth phase, right? So happy to be in today's call, and that's a little bit about me.
Thanks for that, Daman. Cool. So obviously you guys have been working with OneTrust for quite a while, and 3/5 of their life. So I thought it would be a great idea to touch base on what your career growth has been like within OneTrust. A little bit more about sort of where you started and kind of that professional development. Zach, did you want to kickstart us off with?
Sure. Yeah. So just to give you a little bit of an idea, before I came to OneTrust, I worked at the same Fortune 50 company for about 13 years. And coming to OneTrust was an exciting, refreshing change for me, coming to a smaller organization, one that was extremely dynamic and one that was very fast growing. So when I first started my career at OneTrust, I luckily came in 4 weeks before GDPR. And I, like Daman, joined the support team, being that I had led a support team prior. So there was a huge need prior to GDPR for our support team. We were quite a compact team back then, and we were getting ready to obviously tackle a very big ask. So that's where I started initially. And from there, I led the support team for the US for quite some time before becoming the first customer success consultant in the US. And now I manage the whole team. And we, give or take, have about 10 to 12 people at any given time on our team in the US, and about the same in the UK. That's led by my other colleagues. But yeah, that's my growth path. It's been an exciting one, coming from the support team, learning so much there, and then starting off the customer success team and then managing them.
There's a lot to tackle, especially sort of 4 weeks before GDPR as well.
Daman remembers those fun days.
Awesome. You've done such a great job as well. I've really enjoyed working with you as well. So I know, Mayowa, so you've been working for the company as well for a similar amount of time. What was your sort of professional development look like?
Yeah, no, that's a really good question, and it's been amazing. I think I came in as a consultant, and kind of similar to Zach's story. I was in my previous role, I think just over 9 years, doing different things within the business, and came in as a consultant. When I started, we didn't really have, let's per se, a technical team in that sense. We really just had more of the functional modules, which were not as technical in that sense. But really, it was kind of clear, and I think our cookie solution was probably the biggest solution at the time in the tech space. um, and I was asked, if I would be interested in kind of focusing specifically on implementing that solution, and it really was a no-brainer for me, because it was using a lot of the skills that I'd already acquired over my 9 years of career, and really doing something similar in that space. So I went down that route, and there wasn't really that many consultants in the tech, covering the cookie space. I think it was just me and maybe two other consultants at the time. Uh, and really, then we started to see the growth in the product, and then obviously other products started to build out as well. I mean, OneTrust is known for how quickly we build up new products within the industry, and supporting different type of challenges and use cases for clients. So our tech product suite grew immensely, and during that process, I then started to get more involved in understanding what the requirements were and looking to help build out that team. And as I said, we started off with a team of 3, and then I then moved into a lead position, and I was doing that for quite some time, and then effectively was asked to actually oversee the whole technical space. And now I think the team is just well off of 34 individuals. So for me, the career growth has been tremendous. My role has really transformed. Maybe not doing implementations on a day-to-day, but still getting my hands dirty when needed to. But it's more coming from a strategic standpoint now, working with senior managers across the different offerings that we support, the product team, as far as to go to the CTO and the CEO level, and really building out, understanding what's going to come into play, and trying to make sure that we have the right resources available to support the implementations, and also helping drive the career paths for others now, because I'm now responsible for a whole team. So where I came in as only really having to worry about myself, I now have 34 other people that I'm trying to ensure and build out that kind of same journey and career path for them. So yeah, it's been a really, really interesting, great time. And yeah, here I am now, 3 years in, overseeing a massive team in that sense. So yeah, really, really positive career growth for me at OneTrust.
Amazing, 3 to 34.
Yeah.
Such a big jump there.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting kind of what you were mentioning about kind of the product growth, and how we're essentially kind of a one-stop shop for most of our customers. And I know that quite a few of our clients have said that OneTrust is built to last. Domin, what do you think makes OneTrust unique from kind of all the other organizations that you've worked for in the past?
Sure. So if I had to kind of put it on one key point, I would say it's the fact that we, as a product, as an organization, are non-industry specific. By that, what I mean is we're not hosted down or kind of locked into, oh, we only work with the finance space, we only work with the automotive space. People that are working in OneTrust, they have exposure to all these different areas, all these different industries, learning how they operate, what privacy, security, and governance measures really mean for them, and how they move forwards. So as part of that, I think that's maybe one of the strongest sets that I would place into the value of OneTrust, and something I have not had at previous roles. Previous roles, you were very much locked into that single space you've walked into, with very little exposure to what else is going on in the world. Hence, I think OneTrust really helps deliver on that aspect.
Amazing. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. It definitely keeps your brain active, even during sort of remote working, keeping your brain going and focusing on all the different industries for sure. Mayo, from a kind of technical standpoint, what would you say kind of makes OneTrust more unique than?
Yeah, that's a good point. And actually, Demand took a couple of, say, one of the main things I think makes OneTrust unique in terms of the industries that we work with. It's not just one industry. And I think if you're looking at it from a PSO perspective, as professional services, and from a consultancy perspective, being able to deliver implementations to different industries just makes you unique in that sense. So it's kind of OneTrust allows their consultants to be unique. I always say in every interview I do, and actually anyone who has worked with me or works in my team will contest to this. I always say that once you work at OneTrust, you can work at any company in the world, and it's one of my key phrases. And the reason I say that is I heavily mean it. Is a lot of consultants are used to working in one industry, and what you do find is that industries are very different. So implementation styles are different. Conversations are very different. And being exposed to different industries, you effectively learn a lot. The man mentioned the automotive industry. They very, very different type of industry. And then I've been on calls with clients in the fashion industry, two completely different sets. And it allows you as a consultant, as an individual, to adapt, and you learn a lot. So that's one of the key things. I think from a technology standpoint as well, I sit across loads of different offerings that the products that we deliver sit on different tech stacks in that sense. And I've seen how, again, the way the teams are structured, people have exposure to different technologies. And really the way we do things here is kind of having things as a foundation of one maybe tech stack, and then looking at another tech stack and understanding that. So you're able to spread across different product channels in that sense. So it's always kind of a place where you can continuously be learning and also not get bored of doing one specific task and one specific type of implementation. There's opportunities to spread across different types of implementations and technologies in that sense. So yeah, that's pretty much kind of my standpoint on it.
Yeah, amazing. So sort of leaning into that, sort of having exposure to these different industries and across different products, as managers, how would you best describe the culture across your teams as a whole? So Zach, maybe you can speak a bit more about kind of the customer success side of things.
Sure. The thing that makes my team unique, and I'm sure Domin's and Mayo's to a degree as well, is we have a very diverse group of individuals within our team. We've hired pretty much across the board from people that have come in with a stronger technical background. Their focus is technical expertise, to people that have had a marketing background, to people that have had a salesy background. So our team is kind of a nice hybrid of individuals that have different strong points. And it's an extremely collaborative team. We've been collaborative while we've been remote, obviously, over the last year. But one of our strongest suits when we were sat in the office is that we can all, kind of collaborate and shout questions at each other and have an idea of what each person is doing just by sitting beside them and gaining that knowledge. But I think the strongest aspect of our team, like I said, to repeat myself, is how we bring different facets and we kind of learn from each other as well. I don't come from a marketing background, obviously, but we have several people on our team that have, and it kind of brings a different perspective to the customer engagement, because a big part of what we do at customer success takes a lot of creativity, a lot of unique conversations each time we engage with a customer. It's a different kind of conversation, a different type of challenge. So bringing those different experiences and expertises is a massive thing for customer success, and that's a big part of the culture of our team here.
Amazing. Yeah, I really love that kind of inclusivity of everyone across the team as well. I know I've definitely kind of experienced that across my team over here in the EMEA region. Awesome. How about Mayoa? I know sort of slightly different team with the kind of technical implementation guys. So
yeah, no, honestly, I love the culture of the team, and I really try to invest a lot of time in kind of making sure that everyone within the team is happy. I think we all work so well together. I'll give an example. We're in a pandemic, right? So over the last, however long we've been, working from home, working from different places, and actually it just highlights how well we work closely together, because it hasn't had that much of an impact in terms of how we work closely together. We have our peers in the US like Zach, and I mean, I probably was talking to Zach earlier on today, and it's like I think I've met Zach maybe once or twice, but I feel like we're friends in that sense, because everyone is just so friendly and really keen to work together, and that culture comes from the top down in that sense. I think when I first joined, I was surprised to, in my old company, I never really had direct relationships with my CEO. You know, it was unheard of. And, you know, I started OneTrust and, you know, had relationships with the CEO, with my CTO, with my head of product at the time, jumping on calls, readily available when needed. And that mentality has spread across within the business and within all the teams. I think what I like a lot about my team specifically, and I know it's similar to a lot of the different teams, is that the level of expertise and individuals coming in are all from different places. We obviously have great graduates coming in to support. We have people who, you know, first or second jobs, people who have been consultants for many years, and it's that combination and how everyone combines supporting each other. And it's I really just love the kind of connection and the energy that I get. And again, that's not just my team per se. I've worked very closely, as I said, I've been here for 3 years, so I've been involved in a lot of different teams. I see the same vibe. So I just think that's just something that's within the OneTrust mentality. I don't think it's each team is different. I think it's something that is just within the core. You know, I think if I cut my wrist, it probably green blood would come out, and I'm sure it'd be like that for all of us. But yeah, I think that really makes me and kind of really happy with just what we have, and also the diversity. I think I have to really touch on that. I mean, my team, very, very diverse set of individuals from all different backgrounds. We have consultants. We're based in EMEA, so we have a lot of consultants, you know, from different countries, different languages, different speakers. And again, it's learning everyone's culture. It's really exciting to work closely with different people in that sense. And I think people in the team also love that, how diverse the team is in that sense as well. So yeah, I hope that kind of answers your question, Francesca.
Yeah, definitely. If not a little bit.
Yeah, and it's not just within our teams. I think the culture matters, like Maya was saying, across all teams. The way we just interconnect between each other.
Yeah.
You can go speak to somebody in product. You can literally, like Maya said, have a direct line to the CEO. Pretty much everybody and anybody doing anything within OneTrust is ready to, you know, help with the drop of a question or a ping. We rally around, and again, like Maya said, coming from a different company, that's unheard of. Most people are kind of very segregated to within their teams, and they just recognize what their team is doing. But the way that we can work, not just cross-functionally, but cross the ocean, where we can just work as one team, is phenomenal, really.
Yeah, and I just want to add again, just to say what Zach's saying is, honestly, that is something that I've never experienced before. It's just how helpful everybody is. It's like you talk to somebody and it's like you've known this person for years, but it's the first conversation you've had with them, and nobody ever is kind of like never has enough time for you, if that makes sense. Like sometimes you kind of feel like, am I bothering this person? But there's no incline, and if they are bothered, they're doing a great job of hiding it, put it that way. But yeah, I think it's really good to really kind of put a huge emphasis on that, because we're all, you know, Zach's coming from 13 years of experience. I'm coming from 9-10 years, and I've not seen this before. So that just shows you how, you know, how evident and visible it is within the business in that sense.
Yeah, to kind of add to that point, of course, as the team mentioned, that culture is embedded across OneTrust. And I feel like when people are looking for new opportunities or looking to see where they're going to land, one of the key things that I think they don't focus on enough is the culture. Myself, Zach, and Mayo, I think there's countless times that we've been on conversations with each other about what are we doing, our departments linked together. And anyone working in any segment of OneTrust realizes that they can only be so effective themselves. They need the collaboration of not just their team, who are this diverse set of individuals with a variety of skills, therefore a lot for them to learn from, but also different teams that are operating in different models. So I know Mayo can kind of contest this as well, that myself and him and Zach too, we've learned a lot about how product operates. If I was in any other organization, I wouldn't know what the QA testing processes are like, how the development cycle is, what the processes are for enhancements to be, you know, evaluated, deployed, and really tested, and adding value to our customer base. These things can sometimes, as I mentioned earlier, kind of go awry and people don't notice or don't add so much value. But the fact is, at OneTrust, everyone gets to know a little bit about everything. In contract negotiations, that's no one would have really thought that you kind of participate from a technical consultant. You're going to be in evaluating how a contract is and doing an SOW of if things are going to be successful post implementation. All these things really add up. And to my earlier point, it's all about people's development. If you are stepping in and you're going to in a place where it's very single-minded and focused on, hey, you've come in as an analyst or you've come in as a manager or whatever it may be, this is your job role, stick to it, don't look outside. I think it really takes away from the fun that you can have in being in an organization like OneTrust and really getting to learn and build yourself.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. I think kind of tying into what all of you had mentioned there is that even working remotely, and I'm sure every kind of company has found this a little bit challenging, but I think that we've done a really good job of staying connected with each other. You know, things like having the morning meetings or touch points or the virtual social events as well. It's been really, really nice. I don't know about you guys, but I got a little sort of a gift parcel from OneTrust this morning to get us ready for summer. I think I've seen a few kind of sort of posts on LinkedIn with it as well. So just making sure that, you know, we are sort of cared for and recognized is really nice as well.
Yeah. And I think one other thing is we got our boxes for our mocktails and cocktails earlier this week. So our managing director is going to be hosting this session where he teaches us how to make the cocktails that we want. And we've got kind of a bingo session. It's all part of everything we're doing to create and ensure that we've got this sense of culture, this sense of identity, which is OneTrust as a whole, right?
Mm-hmm. Definitely. He says working in software can't be fun. Awesome. So kind of tying in there, talking about kind of the career progression and kind of learning and pushing people forward. Domin, what sort of advice would you give to someone that wanted to be in a similar role to you within OneTrust?
All right. So in terms of my current position and where I am, my job and my role is very high level. I'm thought to think very strategically in terms of what our initiatives are, what we're targeting as a business, and really how we're going to be continuing to deliver value for our customer base. Now, at the heart of that is the team, ensuring that the team is happy and therefore we're able to ensure we've got happy customers. I feel people very much forget how the simple process works. If someone was to ask me, hey, you know, what would you need to do, or the advice I would give in coming into my role, it's ensure your priorities are set straight. Your priority number one and first and most needs to be your team, the people that you're leading. It's all about setting a good kind of a track for everyone, ensuring that you are setting a standard that you not only want to see and achieve in yourself, but nonetheless your team can hopefully achieve, deliver, and actually do better than you. There's nothing like keeping anyone under. We want to ensure everyone is better than us, they are delivering better than us, and they can hopefully put me out of a job and put me into retirement. That would be great. But very much have a hunger, right? People need to be focused in terms of where they want to get, what that means. And as part of it, at the initial part of your career is very much learning. Learn as much as you can, learn anything and everything, take all the opportunities that come your way, so that when you're presented with an opportunity to maybe take a step up, go down the senior route or become a lead, as myself, Zach, and Mayowa first did, you can go ahead and pull from your experiences. You can take, okay, these are certain scenarios. I've dealt with these multiple times or a few different times, and these new people coming into my team that are here to learn from me, I can advise, I can show them what the right way would be. And then that just naturally grows up as your team expand, as you're again dealing with more and more complex use cases and scenarios and facing different challenges. The team here again will contest to the fact that on a quarterly basis, our focuses and what we're trying to deliver is different. And that's based on the simple fact that we are growing so rapidly. And because we are growing quick and because we are becoming to the scale that we are, our focus on delivery needs to be quicker, it needs to be better, and it needs to be above anyone and everyone else in the market. So the team, and in terms of our focus and how we can ensure that we are being better, feeds into all this aspect. So finally, in closing, like what advice I would give it? So be hungry, be focused in terms of your team, and the people that are around you, and ensure that you continue to make friends. Everyone in the OneTrust organization needs each other. We rely on each other. And if that's kind of a fundamental skill that you don't build, it's the rest is kind of a moot point. There's no real point there.
Yeah, definitely. And I think as well that kind of ties into the social stuff we were talking about a little bit earlier, kind of having those friends and having those real life connections with the people you work with. Absolutely. I really like what you were saying about kind of having that hunger as well. I don't know whether sort of Zach tying into that sort of 3 to 35.
Just to kind of reiterate, I think Daman hit on everything just about, but just a few more things. He's spot on with everything. A couple of things I would add is, if you were in my role as a customer success consultant in general, not just a manager, I think the first bit of advice I would give somebody is do not overcomplicate things. Especially when it comes to conversations with customers. Really, the main focus is put yourself in the customer's shoes and look at it from their perspective. I've learned that, time and time again, not just by my role here at OneTrust, but different roles. Just kind of, even if you get them into a conversation and it's a difficult conversation, always put yourself in the customer's shoes, but don't overcomplicate things. The general issue the majority of time is going to be quite straightforward and simple, especially if it's broken down to its core. So that's one bit of advice I would give somebody in my role. The other thing, kind of also to hit on what Daman said, is when building a team, you don't have to be the best person in the room at every single thing. Build a team around you that complements your strengths, but you complement theirs as well. That's key. I don't know every single thing my team does, and I can't know single thing my team does, but it's essential to kind of build a team around you that succeeds together, complements each other, works well together, and that's it primarily. But yeah, that's the biggest points I can think of.
Yeah, definitely. I really like the idea that kind of you were mentioning there, that keeping it simple, because there's so much sort of legal software as well. There's lots of sort of legal jargon that we have to kind of digest as well, and it can come across as quite complicated.
Yeah.
But exactly what you're saying, if you nail it down to the core, what's the core issue,
right,
then you can deliver that solution.
At the end of the day, coming from a support background, there's always a fairly 99% of the time, there's a straightforward answer to every issue. But I think a lot of times people get in their own heads, start to overcomplicate things, kind of exasperates the problem. And at the end of the day, be brave. Don't shy away from difficult conversations. You have the opportunity to turn them around and get a lot of satisfaction taking, not that every conversation we have is difficult, but when they are there to be had, it's a nice feeling to be able to go into that difficult conversation, turn it around, get a nice result out of it at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm. I would add one point to something Zach touched on really early on, was what do you have to do to be the great customer success consultant, right? So within professional services, we are completely client facing. So I think the heart of that is you wanting to work with customers, you wanting to understand how and what their problems are and how they operate, and therefore wanting to be that problem solver so you can go out, have those conversations with those expansive teams, as I mentioned, and deliver a solution. And OneTrust, as we've all covered, has multiple different departments, and different people in those departments fall into their strengths. And in our sides, it's very much people that want to speak to customers, want to deliver, want to build the solution and really take our customers to the next step. And within our R&D teams, it's very much, you're very focused on the product. How can you innovate? How can you change this tool that you're working on to become bigger and better, and touch on maybe a little bit with the customers in terms of what their needs are? But it's very much a balance game of finding maybe what your strengths are and then aligning in terms of what direction you want to go with. And every single one on these calls, guys on the call today, we find our strengths in customer interactions, wanting to be problem solvers. And that's the direction that we ended up taking. And as Zach alluded to a lot earlier on too, GDPR was one of the initial points that was the proving ground for a lot of us. The late nights, the ability to deliver in terms of implementations. Myself and Zach were handling support tickets We were implementing our DSAR and assessment automation module. We were doing demos for cookies, and it all helped to build us to who we are today.
Yeah, and we were doing that while the product was growing at the same time. So
That's exactly it.
You know, we were learning it as we were going along as well. So that was a massive just moment for, just a teaching moment for all of us, just to kind of know how to handle that, handle a moving target while still trying to do as good a job as we could possibly do. And I think we came out of it with pretty flying colors, especially during that time, not to pat ourselves on the back, but yeah, that was a challenging but really fun experience, honestly, looking back at it.
Fun, lots to learn.
Yeah. I mean, even now, the product is still growing, and it's always one of those. It's a benefit, definitely, working for the fastest growing company in the US. There's never a dull moment. Things are always changing and adapting, depending on what our clients tell us, essentially.
Yeah,
I know that
it's a lot of fun. Honestly, it feels like being a celebrity in the US, at least. When people know that you work for OneTrust, you get asked about it all the time, especially since it's in the news and it's in publications. And fortunately, I've had the opportunity to actually bring friends on board through referrals, and just because it's been, a great experience for me. But it is literally like being, I don't know how it is in the UK, but in the US, especially in Atlanta, being that we're a local company, it's a bit of a celebrity status working at OneTrust here because everybody knows who we are.
And you've got that brand new office, which is very, very tall. So that's also exciting. I know that sort of talk about kind of those solutions and maybe not feeling so much like a celebrity, but I'll always remember kind of my very first, what we call kind of the health check. So when we sit down with the clients and we go through how they've been using all their modules, making suggestions based on kind of what their internal processes are, and getting really, really stuck in, just makes you, or kind of re-emphasizes just how diverse all of those different industries are and how no one client is the same. But sort of talk about memorable moments, like Maya, like what would you say is your most memorable moment at OneTrust?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And I feel like I've got quite a few different memorable moments, but I'm probably going to say one specific where I think I'd been in the business for not so long in the business, probably looking at about maybe 6 months into the business. And I was given an opportunity to effectively go to a really big organization in the Middle East. And it just the way it happened, it was like very much like, well, yeah, we want you to come over and do some workshops. Can you come, next week? And for me, it was like, wow, okay, yeah, sure. So I was able to effectively go over. I was fairly new as well. As I said, it's I think maybe less than 6 months, maybe 5 months. So it was quite I hadn't traveled as of yet at that moment. And was over there, and I was able to deliver for the space of a week workshops. I think I was looking at numbers of 50 to 60 different individuals, and I remember I wasn't even aware of how many people were going to be in the room, and walking in, and I was like, but was able to deliver. And actually, it the product itself at the time, and what I had done, it took quite a long period of time to get the actual solution implemented, purely for the fact that after I'd done the on-site visit, the teams then changed. So as you can imagine, you've gone over to deliver workshops to, I'm talking quite a large number of people in different spaces of the business. Then the whole team changes, and it's like you're set with a new set of individuals. And this actually changed or happened, shall I say, at least 2 or 3 times during the course of the project, which was quite frustrating for me as a consultant, because I'm really, we all want to see the end goal. For the end of us is to see our solution implemented. And actually got to a point where the client, and it came up to a point where we got into a pandemic. So this is me talking how long this took, where the client then actually said, do you know what? I think we're in a position where we're not able to deliver right now. And also, as you can imagine, as time goes, the needs and from a privacy perspective, new legislations to come into play. So what they wanted to do a number of years ago, shall I say, has now changed, and the whole perspective has changed. But because I'm a very much kind of, I don't like to let things go, and I need to see the end goal. I was very driven to make sure I would see it through, and I was like, this is not happening, guys. We are going to see this to the end. And I think for me, it was really good to see the solution then go live on one of the biggest, I say biggest companies in the Middle East on their website. And I was heavily involved in that, and really, you know, a lot of different people were involved, but really just seeing the fact that, you know, we were consistent and driven. So that was really a memorable moment. And I got another one, if that's okay, which is just more recent.
Absolutely.
But during the pandemic, you know, I decided to kind of put my skills into DJing. So I bought a little mixer at home and I started practicing. And I was really happy to put kind of a session with my team. So we had like a virtual pizza making session where I ordered pizza kits for everyone in the team, and I think that was maybe 27 at the time. So we all were on Zoom, shared screen, making pizzas, and during the time then I was mixing tracks, and it was quite nice to do something that I had learned outside of work, but to my team. And they were, I mean, I think they enjoyed it. They looked like they enjoyed it anyway. But yeah, I mean, it was just nice because I think for me it was like, and the reason I say it's a memorable moment is because we've all been in this journey together, especially those during this whole pandemic. It's been a challenging time for every single one of us. And, you know, it's still a challenging time for many. But just to see the smiles, and I know that sounds really, I say cheesy in that sense, but I'm a very much of a people, you know, I'm a people person. I like to see other people, and I really do a lot for the guys. So just to see the team happy, and, you know, our VP of professional services was also on the call, and he was, you know, getting down with the tune. So that was another memorable moment that you know, to add to that.
You need a meeting invite for the next DJ session.
Yeah.
Don't worry, it's coming. I'm currently making my my mixtape, so I'll definitely send that across to you guys. But yeah, no. So yeah, I mean, as I said, those are just two that stand out to me. But honestly, if we were to ask some memorable moments at OneTrust, we'd be here for hours. So I hope that answers your question, Fran.
Yeah, definitely. It's always really difficult to kind of pinpoint. So my apologies for putting you on the spot there.
No worries at all.
I'm glad we got through through those. Awesome. I think that was all of the questions that we had today. So a massive thank you again, guys, for sharing all of your stories. Obviously, we realized that we're just at the beginning of this really, really long journey, especially sort of trust and privacy of kind of existential issues that are impacting everyone across all industries, as you guys mentioned earlier there. But just for the guys listening, we are actually actively hiring. So if you are interested in joining the team, make sure that you check out kind of our website and our LinkedIn pages for more information there. Yeah, so thanks everyone. Thanks for listening.
Cheers, guys. Have a good
Thank
rest
you.
of the day. Take care.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.